Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in again to another episode of CivilianTacticalWeapons.com. Remember, you can email me questions at info@CivilianTacticalWeapons.com. Today's episode, I actually had a other video that was going to go up this week, but I had someone send me an email on Friday asking me about how to break down and clean the MSAR. So the episode I have on the different Glocks and different sizes of the models of the Glocks will actually air next week. So what I want to first cover is, this is going to be kind of strange for me. I've never cleaned a gun as part of a video before, so this will be also a new experience for me too. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about the MSAR since you guys already know it. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about how you break this thing down. First of all, of course, you want to make sure the chamber is empty. So we've already verified that. Doing it one more time. Chamber is empty. There is a lever back here in the center of the gun. You need to actually push this lever out. And this is kind of the trickiest part of breaking this gun down. So I'm going to push down. I've pulled it out. And as you can see, the gun kind of launches forward. So I'm going to pull the gun apart. And as you can see, it's pretty much broken down. These, you'll want to take off the straps. So if you push down this little button on the top, it'll take the strap off, which is actually the carrying sling. The other thing you'll want to do is remove the barrel. So if you push this button up here in the front of the barrel, you'll notice that it actually moves just a hair. If I move this, it'd actually be, if you're looking at it from the front of the gun, it would be clockwise. I'm going to push it down just a hair. And then once I do that, I can rotate the barrel right out. Of course, you gotta take that out first. You can actually take the barrel off first. You don't have to actually take it out this part, but this is kind of the basic breakdown of this. A couple of things I wouldn't recommend doing. If you want to look at the trigger group, this has got an extremely basic trigger. I use it's a carpet sample is what I actually clean all my guns on. I wear latex gloves just because easier to get the gun oil off. A couple of things I want to do is, because I don't really like to tear apart trigger groups unless I really have to, not for just a general cleaning. What you may want to do is get these things here. These are actually sprayed versions. So this is you've got a gun scrubber. I use this one by Birchwood Casey. There's tons of different ones you can get. And what you can do is it kind of speeds up the whole process of cleaning a gun. I own quite a lot of guns, and it can be a pretty long process to clean them out, so I tend to like to use these options to kind of make it a lot quicker. Another thing I have is a Remington oil. So the way I clean out this is really you just want to lube the gun. You don't have to really worry too much about giving it a real thorough cleaning. So down where you have this trigger group area, there's two little metal slides up here. I just shoot a little bit of oil in there, and that's really about all I do in that section for the trigger. You're going to go ahead and clean out the barrel. I'm not going to actually show you cleaning the bore out. It's a pretty basic process cleaning a bore out. You can use whatever system you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean the barrel, the exterior of it. So what I'm using here is actually just nothing too fancy here, just a regular old cleaner. These are just different solvents. So I'm just going to clean any of the, around the barrel, any of the excess dirt that builds up here. Keep in mind the gun itself is actually a pretty clean gun. Compared to some other guns that I've used, this is actually a very easy gun to keep clean. So I'm just using pretty much just some generic gun oil to clean all the mechanisms here. Because these are really all the mechanisms you want to worry about. This component here is pretty much the only component area where you're going to really worry about cleaning it. There is a couple things to note. You can tear the pin out from inside here too. I don't know if you want to really do that on a routine cleaning. I actually don't. I don't spend too much time cleaning it there. I just really want to worry about making sure the main components are clean of this. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a little gun oil along here. Clean this down. Because really what I want to do is, when I push down on here, I want this to be really a lube with no friction, just a really soft momentum going on there. So I'm going to put some rose gun oil along here. And I'm just using these little throwaway swabs here. I run a little bit along this because after reassembling it, I want to have the gun oil on here. I'm a strong believer that there's no such thing as over oiling a firearm. Clean the bottom, clean the top, it's pretty basic. I'm not going to really go into too much more of that. Do is just drop this into here. What you want to do is line up the components. So you'll have, it's got two little prongs, I guess is the best way of describing it. You want to go ahead and slide these prongs right over here. So that slides down. And remember, we talked about the mechanism back here. So I'll slide this back, and remember this big lever here. Push this all the way over. While things connected, I drop the barrel in. And remember that notch, again, looking from the front, you want to go ahead and turn this clockwise so that it'll actually rotate in. It locks. You can then drop the handle down. This all connects upright. Charging handle's fine. Everything's clean, so the gun's reassembled. Remember, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help you out with any questions you have. I'll address them on the show if I have the ability to. I know some of you have asked me about some other firearms that I don't have ready access to. If I did, I'd actually cover those too. But if there's any particular gun you've seen me cover in this episode, and any of the episodes you've seen here, I'm more than happy to go ahead and talk about them or show you what you have any questions about. But the key thing to remember here is this little button here is the hardest thing to take apart on this gun. So, hope that answers your question, and tune in again next week for another episode, and I hope to see you next week.